closed, but you begin to, Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. It is so good to come your way again, and you know what we do on this show. We equip you to live a balanced and a fulfilled life. And on today's show, we are talking about sleep and how it does affect your optimum health. So I hope you keep tuning in, join me as we share tips as to how to make our sleep work positively for us, how we can have a good night's sleep and wake up rested, wake up ready to be productive for the next day is what we're looking into. So let's go. Now here's the deal. The first tip we want to share on today's show has to do with the overall point on today's show we are looking into is has to do with seeing. Okay, the overall, we started off by looking at our five senses and correlating it to our sleep. Okay, what does that mean? That means that we take each of the five senses and we look into tips as to what to do that helps us to have a sleep that benefits our lives, benefits our bodies. Sleep is really key. Sometimes because we all can, cut back on sleep and nobody will come and, so to speak, catch us, we end up, cutting back, but you know that it can impact our health in a negative way. So much as we have nobody, coming to, so to speak, quote unquote, catch us, we want to change things. We want to modify things so that we can take the right steps and have optimum health. Okay, so today we are looking at the sense as far as seeing. Okay, our senses. We have five senses we are looking at and connecting it to our sleep. We talked about touch, now we are talking about sight, seeing. Okay, we have a sense of seeing things, we see things, oh, this is beautiful. So how does it really mean when we connect the sense of seeing to our sleep schedule, to our sleep pattern, to the things we do, the rituals, when the things we do? Basically, I'm just talking about habits, the things we do that helps us as far as our sense of seeing. Okay, so let's go ahead and share the first tip. Okay, now there are things that we can do when it comes to our bedroom, okay, that helps us to have effective sleep. Okay, as human beings, we've been wired in such a way that we respond to light. So you and I, when it comes to our bedroom, sometimes I hear people say your bedroom is what? Your sanctuary. You want to create the room in such a way that light doesn't become an intrusion when it comes to your sleep. So while we are looking at our sense of sight, we are connecting sight to our sleep. Okay, so what that simply means is that when it comes to sight and sleep, my sight and my sleep, the first tip I want to know is that light impacts, okay, as human beings, we've been wired in such a way that we respond to light. Okay, so when light intrudes your sleep, you know, you could have your eyes closed, but you begin to, you know, open your eyes, and then by the time you know, your eyes are open, and then the light becomes a distraction. So you want to look at very simple things when it comes to sight, and especially the light system. Do you have really bright light in your room? Is the curtain or the blinds in your room made such that light is able to come in? Or probably from the hallway, when the lights in the hallways are turned on, it comes under my door to my room or through the windows. So these are some of the things, because I was reading this, I believe it's the National Sleep Foundation, and this tip was being shared that as humans, when we see light in our sleep, for example, it begins to turn our internal clock on. It begins to tell us that, okay, it is time to wake. It is time to be alert, okay? So we begin to wake up from our sleep, okay? And then we begin to be awake. So when you have this light, okay, that you see always intruding in your room, coming through, probably you have bright light, you turn them on, or somebody turns them on, or light is coming through your window or under your door, or however, it does impact your sleep in a negative way. It brings you out of your sleep. So while we're talking about sleep, how to manage our sleep so that we can reap the benefits that helps us to have optimum health and wellness, we want to look at some of the things that we do in connection to our sight. Some of the things we do that we can either change, we can modify it, that helps us to have a restful night. And you know that when you are well rested in the night, you wake up, you are ready for the next day, you are productive, you aren't cranky, you know, it's not affecting your mental well-being, okay? You are rested, you're ready to go. You know how sometimes we all sleep, you wake up and you feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I had no rest. There are times like that. And then there are times when you wake up and you feel like, oh my gosh, I am so rested. So here's the deal. Our whole goal is to do the things that drives us to a place where after resting, we wake up and feel that we have benefited, so that our next day can be effective because we put the right sleep practices. So I want us to take a quick break, and when we come back, more tips as to our sight and sleep in connection. See you soon. Welcome back. So we are talking about sleep management, the things we need to do that helps us to reap the maximum benefits from our sleep, because our sleep is good for us. Sleep impacts our health. Sleep, when it's done in the right way, contributes to our optimum health and wellness. And when we don't do it right, it takes away from our health and wellness. And you know that the platform for this show is to equip you to live a balanced and a fulfilled life. And you know this, health and wellness is key. Okay, matter of fact, I love the statement that says that health is wealth. So while our big goal is to have a balanced and a fulfilled life, we are taking time and looking into segments of our lives, the things we are doing, the things we can change, the things we can improve, that helps us to have optimum health and other areas, so that in totality we can have a balanced and a fulfilled life. So while we look into sleep management all week, what we are doing is that we are taking our five senses, and each of these senses, we are connecting them to sleep. Okay, so today we are looking into our sight, our senses of sight, our sense of sight, and connecting it to our sleep. All right, so let's share another tip. We are looking at seeing, the things we see in our bedroom, the things we see, the things that we see that impact us. We talked about light. Let's share another one. How is the layout of our room? Do we have our room in such a way that we have a lot of clutter? Because you know, if the room is cluttered, if there are too many things packed, if the room is not relaxing, you come and see the room and it doesn't help you to relax. Okay, because same way as we talked about when it has to do with the light, you know, studies shows this. Okay, when it's nighttime, when the weather itself changes, you know, it is a signal for us that it becomes dark, because we are getting ready to welcome sleep. Okay, so the weather itself becomes dark. Okay, so light outwardly begins to go down, and so we in turn don't have to bring this light as far as different bulbs and all that into our room to distract our sleep. So the same way light can impact us is the same way that the way we sometimes have our room laid out, maybe too many clothing, piles of clothing, it gets the room in a way that we don't feel relaxed. You can come to the room and you actually feel anxious because it's just too many things, too many clothing over here, overflowing. And I know life happens. We all have stuff, we all have stuff to take care of, stuff to do, and I understand that. But if we want to manage sleep, let's begin to look into these things. I mean, you don't have to spend a fortune to decorate your room, but just simple, basic things. Sometimes it's simple things as even the paint. Sometimes studies say that the colors impact us. Okay, probably. For example, I hear and I have read what stimulates. So probably red may not be appropriate for your room, because once you get in the room and you see it, you're stimulated, you're more awake instead of actually being relaxed to get into the mood of sleep. So we're looking into, as far as sight and our sleep, we're looking into some of the setup in the room, how our room is laid out, the colors we have in our room. We don't have to spend a fortune on this, but we just have to make it such that we feel relaxed. Okay, and here again, I like to say this, one size really doesn't fit all. So just, experiment with yourself, see what you're doing. Okay, am I having good sleep? Is it working for me? It's not working. Could it be? And all these little things could be impacting your sleep in a negative way. So let's look into these tips here. Let's take a quick break and we will be right back. Welcome back. We are talking about our sleep, how it does impact our lives. Therefore, we need to manage our sleep in a way that it helps us to have optimum health and wellness, because you know that sleep does impact our lives. If we have sleep rested, if we sleep, that we've done the right things, we go to sleep, we wake up, we are rested, we are able to reap the benefits of our sleep into the next morning. So it is really key that much as some of these things on sleep might be ignored, it is key that we bring it to light. That's what we do on this show. We equip you to have a life of balance and a life of fulfillment. And that, life is big, it has different aspects. So we take time and we look into different things. So we are looking today into sight and sleep, okay? The things we see and how it does impact our sleep. So let's go ahead and share one more tip. Some of the things we can do that helps us. At this point, I want us to talk about gadgets. In today's world, there's so many gadgets. Our phones, and all these gadgets, have light. Laptops, computers, your phones, iPhones, iPad, other gadgets, they have light. And TV, so, sometimes some people have caught up, they don't have TV in their room, but they have many other gadgets. So, sight and your sleep. Do you have gadgets in your room? Okay, the lights on, probably you have your cell phone plugged somewhere, and then there's light that is blinking, that is, on and off. All right, you know that we said during our first tip, the lights, it brings us to, consciousness. You are sleeping, you see light, your eyes could be closed, but once the light comes, there's an internal, check and clock that begins to bring you your eyes open and bring you back out of your sleep. And so it is not just the bulb light, the lamp that we are talking about. There are other forms of light. There are other forms of gadgets. Okay, sometimes you have the TV on instead of you to begin to relax. Okay, because once it's evening, all right, your body is sending signals because the weather itself outside is changing, it's getting dark. So your internal system, the way it's built, is getting signals that, oh, it's getting dark. So here you are, your body temperature is dropping because it's preparing itself to welcome sleep. All right, so it sees outside, okay, the weather is getting dark, the light is going, the stimulation is going down, your body temperature is, dropping, you're getting ready to welcome what? To welcome sleep. You have this hormones, okay, that helps you, to calm down, and so you're getting ready to receive sleep. Okay, the signals even from the weather outside is telling you it's time to relax, it's time to be calm, it's not time to be stimulated. But if you have all these gadgets, you have your TV on and you're watching, these rays and these lights are sending signals to your brain that helps, that makes your brain be more active. The brain is now not ready, even though there are signals through the outside, it's getting dark and your body is getting signals, oh, it's getting dark, oh no, it's time to calm down, it's time to relax. You have all these gadgets that is now stimulating your brain, okay, and then it's not putting you in the state of sleep. And sometimes after you go on those gadgets, it takes the brain, research shows this, okay? I believe, was it the American pediatrician, okay? Research is showing this because they're beginning to find out how these things are impacting our lives. And so you go on these gadgets and then you're ready to sleep. You may have turned it on, the TV off or whatever, but then your body's not ready to sleep. And so you could stay in your bed, toss and turn and go through insomnia and say, oh, I can't sleep. No, you just got to stop. Because I'm a believer of this. You don't just have to treat symptoms. Okay, I need to go and find a sleep medication. No, look at the cause. Probably you don't need it. Of course, by any means, if you need professional help with your sleep, go for it. I'm not here to say don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that there are simple things that we may be doing that negatively impacts our healthy sleep. And we just have to turn them around, because For the most part, once we turn them around and treat these causes, the symptoms goes away. But once we ignore these causes and just focus on the symptoms, then the more we think that, okay, I need to pop in a pill to help me sleep. No, we just need to stop these habits. So on this final key that we are sharing, we are saying that look into the gadgets you have in your room. Maybe somebody say, oh, I don't even have gadgets in my room. But probably before you go to sleep, you are on gadgets. You go probably to your study room, you go to the family room, you're watching TV, and you know, you turn it off, you come to your bed, but the brain has already been stimulated, even though you may not have these gadgets in your room. So having the gadgets in the room is one thing, and also how close you use these gadgets. They may not be in your room, but if you are using them too close to bedtime, they could be impacting your sleep, your restful night's sleep in a negative way. So these are simple things that we can all benefit from, that we can all be reminded to improve, to stop doing, to change. And once we do that, there are benefits that we reap into our sleep, and there are benefits that we reap in our journey on an optimum health and wellness. And finally, while we reap benefits on our journey to optimum health and wellness, it helps us reap our bigger goal of having a life of balance and a life of fulfillment. So I sure thank you for tuning in while we share these tips. And let me see you back tomorrow while we look into another of our senses and how they correlate with our sleep. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.